Well, this week we continue our series, TWILA Reporting for Duty, with our own AJ Sabine, who traveled to Mansfield, Louisiana for a day at work at the Clear Lake Apiary with DeSoto Parish beekeeper Randy Fair. Now, Fair is also known as the Bee Bumbler, and he challenged AJ on Facebook to spend a day harvesting honey from colonies situated all around his Mansfield home. While AJ found himself in plenty of sticky situations, he also found truth in the old saying that no good deed goes unpunished.
We're going to get suited up.
To say that DeSoto Parish beekeeper Randy Fair is passionate about his honeybees would be like calling Mount Rushmore just another sculpture. That aside, I dress up for the rundown on how to harvest honey.
This is very nice. This is brand new.
Brand new.
So this suit, is this like Tom Ford?
After a few quick zips, I was ready to lend my labor to the Bee Bumbler.
They have to have pollen to raise young bees.
Today, we will harvest honey from 12 of Randy's more than 200 colonies of honeybees. But first, a question.
Are we honey robbers, Randy?
We are harvesting.
Harvesting.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
With that, we get to work. Armed with veils, fume boards, and a little smoke, we move in to get the bees out of these boxes called supers.
This top box we're just going to set it off to the side on end.
Each super must then be loaded onto the truck in stacks of 4. Randy explains how his bees load up these supers with liquid gold.
You'll notice that all this capping on there.
So this white material, this is the capping?
That's beeswax. Yes, that's beeswax. The bees bring in the nectar and it'll be about 60% moisture content. And then they'll fan it and dry it out. And when it gets down to 17 or 18%, then they put the little wax capping on top.
After a few trips to the truck, the novelty of my work wears off.
Okay, this is not easy work. These boxes weigh about 36 pounds apiece, the heavy ones. I'm fully covered in 90-degree heat. I am sweating profusely. I don't mind sharing that. But this is only half of the job. The other half is at the honey house about 2 miles away.
Take the next box off.
How long does it take to clean out one of these bee yards?
If I'm doing it by myself,
Yes, sir.
about an hour. If I'm doing it with AJ, 2 hours.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Do you see the kind of abuse that the TWILA team has to endure?
And so it goes for the remaining 8 colonies. With every super that we remove, the bees get more agitated. The Bee Bumbler suggests we get a move on.
You're kind of laying them down for me here, huh, buddy?
Well, yeah. We still have to go to the honey house and take all the honey out.
Okay.
This is only half the job.
Only half of it, huh?
With all appropriate haste, we wrap up the harvest of this bee yard and head back to the honey house.
All right, Randy.
All right, AJ, we made it out of the bee yard.
Yes, so we're here at your honey house.
Yes.
And while we were transporting the honey hives from the bee yard to here,
The supers.
the supers, thank you, one of us, I'm not going to say who, but one of us got stung.
Yes.
I guess there's no good deed that goes unpunished, as they say.
Yes.
You can see right here, on the end of my nose is a little red dot. That's where the bee got me. So I have to ask you, my friend, is there hazard pay when you get stung by a bee?
Only after you pay for the bee that you killed. Because that bee died.
Okay, moving right along. What can I help?
Is that good?
Yeah, it's good. What can I help?
Okay.
What can I help you with now?
We're going to unload the supers into the honey house.
Okay.
And then we're going to start the extracting process, getting the honey out of the honeycomb.
Moving the supers into the honey house had its own set of problems.
You can't let this get away from you, because it'll push you down.
Yes, it will.
After I unloaded all of the honey-filled supers, Randy taught me how to prepare each frame for extraction.
Take the hive tool, scrape the top.
All right, so pull this red lever towards me.
Next, I dropped frames into the uncapper, a machine which shaves off a thin layer of beeswax from the cells.
There's a line right here. This is light honey, which could be clover, blackberry, something that I missed in the spring. And then the summer honey is usually darker, and that's going to be below that line.
Once uncapped and scratched, golden honey drips as we load prepared frames into the extractor.
If you're looking here, there's 20 slots.
Okay.
You put a frame in every slot. There's
Vertically?
there's a tray here, and then there's little brackets right here that the frame fits in.
After about 20 minutes on spin cycle,
How would you like to have these hands? It's really slippery, but it smells good.
the honey flows out of the extractor and into filtered barrels.
Well, Randy, I have to tell you, that was a lot of work. We've been at
Yes.
it for like 4 hours, and I am bushed.
Yes, and wet.
A little bit. I think this outfit would really look great in Vegas, but unfortunately, we got to head down south. I want to say thank you.
Yeah. And I know you said earlier it gives you an appreciation of that honey that's already in the jar.
It really does, man. I had no idea it was that labor intensive.
Most people think you just put a box out there and the bees fill it full of honey and somehow it gets in the jars.
Well, thank you again.
A lot more to it.
Randy Fair, ladies and gentlemen, the Bee Bumbler. That's all from here. We'll see you next time. Take care. I'm AJ Sabine for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
You couldn't even really see that sting on AJ's nose. Well, so far, Fair has harvested nearly 250 gallons of honey for his fall harvest. That's in addition to more than 1,000 gallons of honey Fair harvested this spring. Beeswax harvested with the honey is used to make lip balm, soap, and other products. Now, for more information about Clear Lake Apiary and the Bee Bumbler, you can go to our website, twilatv.org. Next week, Neil Melanson will spend a day driving cattle and learning that a horse, well, can be more stubborn than the person riding it.